guys got a nice day for it, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. At least it's not raining, right?
Yeah.
Get a few people on the other side, it would balance us out a little bit.
We're a little lopsided.
Makes it more comfortable, whatever though. Don't everybody go.
And the other side is lopsided.
Thank you.
Good morning. How are we all doing today? Or good afternoon. How are we all doing today? Good. I'm glad. This is good. So today we are on the Upper Waterton Lake, and I am Ava, and your captain is Steve. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Awesome. And so today our plan is to go just around this sandbar, so we're not stuck. That would be kind of a short cruise, wouldn't it be? And then, so we are going around the sandbar and then south down the lake here. We will be crossing the border just for a couple of kilometers. We'll be going into Montana, Glacier National Park. And so I hope you all brought your passports. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. But today is going to be a good day. The weather is cleared up, and so now you can actually see all the mountains, at least most of them, I think. Our first view is going to be cool. It's just going to be on the right side pretty soon here. But today we are on the Connie Marlene. So welcome aboard the Connie Marlene. And she is licensed to have a total of 48 people on board. We also have plenty of life jackets, so if the worst case scenario were to happen and we would need to use some life jackets, we have plenty. We got some children life jackets up here at the front, and then we also have the other life jackets for the adults on the underneath the window sills. And we also have 18 more life jackets up at the top here. As well as for if someone were to fall over, we have the life rings as well as the life slings. And if we were to need to abandon ship, we have a raft that can hold up to 75 people. So today we will be safe no matter what. We also have a lot of other safety features on board. We have firefighting equipment, we have flares, we have lots of things that we can let people know that we're in trouble, which will not happen. And so, yeah, knock on wood. And so today we will be cruising along this Upper Waterton Lake. Waterton National Park has actually a chain of 3 lakes. We have the upper, the middle, and the lower. And this Upper Waterton Lake is actually one of the deepest natural lakes in the Canadian Rockies. And so this lake is actually 480 feet deep. And so you could take the Calgary Tower and you could stick it in the middle of the lake, and we could just see like the little ball part that's just like sticking up out of the lake. It's that deep. And so it's really, really interesting because it's actually, this lake is shaped like a bathtub. It's shaped like a U, and so we come off you come swim off this shoreline, as hop's going to jump into the water, and you're already 200 feet deep in the water. And so, I hope you guys know how to swim. And so, it's really interesting because this lake it has a lot of wildlife in it. There's about 24 different species of fish, and a fun fact is that there is actually every single type of trout except for the golden trout that's in this lake. And so fishing season is almost ready. It actually opens next weekend, and so on a long weekend. And so if y'all got your license to fish, you can have a pretty tasty dinner after another boat cruise next week. Speaking of wildlife, there is plenty of wildlife on shore as well. There's about 60 different mammals in this park, and so that includes elks, deer, sheep, goats, and I already said deer, elks. Yeah, I already said elks. Lots of different types, like bears, grizzly, as well as the black bear, wolves, wolverines. There's a lot of different kind of varieties, and so keep your eyes peeled. We're hoping that we can see some wildlife. We haven't seen any this morning. Actually, that's a lie. We saw some deer near the shoreline, but you can also see deer within the town site. You can also see some bighorn sheep in the town site, and so sometimes even elk here in the forest as well. So don't be afraid to point out the wildlife so that it can slow down and have some time to take some photos if you like.
It's so nice out there.
Yeah.
I want more rain. Need more rain than that.
I saw what's it called? I saw the weather app that said it's supposed to rain at least sometime every single day this week.
We need a lot. It's so
Yeah.
dry. Take a lot to dry out again.
It's so funny because I'm from Vancouver, and so like never have I ever in my entire life desired to have rain.
Yeah, get all the rain. Strong rain.
And of course, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I would love to talk about the things that you're interested in, and if not, then I'll just talk about the things that I know and I am interested in. So don't be afraid to ask any questions.
Much smoother now.
Sorry.
Much smoother now. You're not breaking your sentence. Just watching you evolve a little bit. Now I'll start coaching. You gotta get over the jitters. You're good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just practice like how to keep going from one topic to another without even thinking about it or what to talk about. That type of thing.
Breaking your sentences up a little. It's just an example.
some wildlife in the air. There are, I don't currently see some, but maybe at some point. Here in Waterton, we have a variety of 250 different kinds of birds that fly through Waterton Park. A lot of them are golden eagle or the bald eagle, and then there's also pelicans as well as loons, and so, but like that's just like the most common. And so there's a lot of variety, and so don't be afraid to ask which bird you see, and then we can take some time to look at it. And something else that we have been seeing, we've been seeing a lot of bears. We've seen a bear on Sunday as well as the Sunday before. And so it sounds like the bears like the weekends. And so we have grizzly bears and we also have black bears. And so black bears, they are a little bit different. It's kind of hard to differentiate the two bears if you don't know what you're looking for. And so black bears, they have a longer nose and longer face, and they got like a normal size little flat, not flat, but like a normally sized round back. And then grizzly bears, they have kind of a flatter face, and then they have a hump in between both their shoulders. And so once you know the difference between the two and how to differentiate the two of them, it becomes a lot easier to know what to do when you see them. Either way, they don't usually actually, they never really eat humans, so you don't really should worry about that. As long as you don't bother them and then they won't bother you. Unless you surprise them, and especially if they have cubs, then that would be a problem. But hopefully that won't be a problem today, since we are on the water. Bears swim. Yes. But actually, bears have a 90% vegetarian diet. And then they have 10%. 10% of that diet are just like small little burrowing animals that are most likely already dead from like the winter and stuff. But who here likes berries? I like berries. Do you guys like berries? I like berries. And bears also like berries, actually. They like them a lot. They probably like them more than you because they eat 100,000 berries every day. Every day. And so that leads up to, that combines to 20,000 calories. Or, if you're really hungry, 20 Big Macs from McDonald's. No, sorry, 40 Big Macs from McDonald's is 20,000 calories, which is equal to the same as 100,000 berries. Now you're probably wondering, oh, okay, Ava, how are you supposed to know how many berries that they eat? Well, you take students from the University of Alberta, and then you've got to look through the bear's feces. And so the students look through the bear's feces, which would not be a really fun job, and they count all of the seeds in the feces. And so because of the amount of seeds that are in these feces, that is how they are able to know how many berries a bear eats in a day. Isn't that interesting? Now the bay that we're pulling up to right here is Crypt Landing. And the Crypt Lake hike is actually ranked one of the most thrilling hikes in the world. And you're probably wondering, okay, how thrilling could it really be? I personally think it's pretty thrilling. I've done it myself. But there's actually 3 obstacles that happen during this hike. Well, one, the obstacle itself is probably the 17 kilometer hike that you have to do. And then, but in that hike, there is a steel ladder that you have to climb that's, I don't know, 8 feet? It's about 6 feet tall, the steel ladder. And then after that ladder, you come to a tunnel, a cave, or a tunnel that is 60 feet in length, which is a length of a bowling alley, fun fact. So after the tunnel, you have some, at one point you have to like crawl through. It can get pretty tight. So if you're claustrophobic, I would not recommend it. But if you're not, then I would recommend it. And so after the tunnel, you come out to this ledge that you have to hold onto a chain. And this ledge is like not very big. It's maybe even like the length of, or the width of this little middle aisle here. And then so you have to hold on to this chain to make sure they don't fall. So in my opinion, I think that's pretty thrilling with all those obstacles and things that you gotta do and hold on to. And so it's definitely an adventurous hike. So we don't have any boats going out to Cruise Lake just yet, but I believe that's next weekend we start sending out boats. And so you're welcome to come back. Is it anyone's first time here in Waterton? Yeah? That's so amazing. And so hopefully you can come back and then maybe do the Crypt Lake hike and go through all those adventures. You may want to leave the babies at home. Now we're heading on to the west side of the shoreline, and as you'll see, we'll be able to see all of these burned trees. Now these trees, they're burned from a wildfire that happened that happened in 2017, and it started on a mountain called Mount Kino, and that's in British Columbia. And so it happened over there. It started by a lightning strike. Just the other day we had a really big lightning storm, actually. It was crazy. But this one started in 2017 by a lightning strike on Mount Kino. And it was all fine and dandy until it crossed the border into Alberta. And at that day and time, the winds were going about 80 kilometers an hour. And so in one day, this fire burned 70% of the park. Now you might think, okay, that's a really bad wildfire, we should stop wildfires. But and that's what we used to think, and so us humans, we did used to stop the wildfires and suppress them, but then we realized that it actually does a lot of good for the environment. For us, it does not do good because it like makes the air quality really bad. You have to evacuate and you lose a lot of your stuff, and that's awful. But for the environment, wildfires are actually pretty good because it gets rid of the old trees, it gets rid of the infected things, it's kind of like rebirth. And so as we are looking at all of these burnt trees, you can imagine what it may have looked like because there's a lot of dead trees. But it actually uncovered a lot of history as well. And so way back like 10,000 years ago there is a lot of indigenous people of Canada that were here in the park. Of course, it wasn't a park back then, but the indigenous people, or the Blackfoot people of Canada, they lived and they hunted and they gathered like materials so that they could use for healing and they could use for just their life in general. And so after this wildfire, the Blackfoot people worked with the Parks Canada as well as archaeologists, and they were able to uncover and date a lot of artifacts that were hidden within the bush of the forest. And because of the wildfire, it was revealed field, and they found things like spearheads as well as like medicine circles and other sacred sites of the indigenous people, and they were able to date that back to 10,000 years old. So this park is really, really old. But it didn't actually become a national park until 1911. And so before then it was just some beautiful land, but now that it is a national park, we're not able to use it for materials or anything like that. And continuing on the right side here, you can see all of these trees that are alive. They did not get burnt in the 2017 fire, but they actually were burned in the 1930s. And so you can imagine how many years it takes for a forest to regrow, because if this was burnt in the 30s, then it would have taken, it's now been 90 or so years. And so you can imagine how long it will take for this forest that was burnt to grow back. So if you come back in 90 years, you'll see the new green forest.
Build off that.
Yeah.
Start to get out their own style.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of places have like a script and talk to
Yeah.
They don't do that.
And I also think it's like a little bit more intimidating too.
Tin can commentary. And then you start doing hikes and learning stuff while you're back there. And you can share your own experience.
Yeah. I actually lost one of my hiking boots, and then I found them just the other day, and then I went to I left them in my bed in my fridge to take them back, but then I forgot them. So all I have are these still, and I was like, dang it, I should have put them back, because this morning was chilly and raining. I'm like, dang, I got sandals on. But I'll get them. And the forest on the east side, just on the east side over here, this forest has actually never been reported that it has burned. Like, never have we known of a wildfire on the east side of this lake. And so you can see that there's a lot of brown and gray trees that are dying. And that's because that there has never been a forest fire. And so it's all kind of, there's newer trees, there's older trees. They're not really all the same, like, age, roughly. And so there's a lot of old trees that are dying because of a few insects and bugs that are like burrowing in the tree, and so they're cutting off the nutrients that the tree is trying to get, and so that which results in the tree dying, and so it's really interesting to see how different the forests are on the left and the right side because of the forest fires.
Cambrian layer.
going over the deepest part of the lake right now. And so remember, that's about 480 feet.
140.
And so that's 148 meters, or 480 feet. So now is not the time to go swimming if you don't know how to swim. Now you can see that there's a lot of different kinds of trees. You can see the light green and the dark green and the different kinds of textures of trees. And so there's actually over 1,000 kind of plants here in Waterton National Park. And a lot of the trees consist of coniferous trees like the Douglas fir, as well as the spruce, the lodgepole pine, and some other trees include the poplar as well as the aspen. But I am no tree hugger today because I am actually allergic to the aspen tree. So, no tree hugging for me.
Just that one specific tree?
There's a few other trees that I like too, but that's like one of the trees that's in the water,
Just find out the hard way, or you go get like tested?
I did go get tested, but I already knew, like in general, that I was kind of sensitive to some sort of thing in the environment. Because I was having some sort of reaction, but I had another like really bad reaction, so I actually went and tested to go see what it was. But it was nothing. But the environment test didn't come out with anything. So I'm assuming it might be something like that. Lake, the Upper Waterton Lake, is actually 11 kilometers long, and there's actually a trail that goes along the shore of the lake, and that's about 13 kilometers long. And so at the very, very end of the lake, there is a little, it's called Goat Hunt. And so Goat Hunt is in the U.S., it's in Montana, and actually during the summer, we take cruises, and we take people over to the other side of the lake over there. We spend half an hour and to explore and to look around. And so, but it's really interesting because the rangers that are over there, they don't go over there until next weekend, but the rangers that do go over and live over there for the summer, they are Americans, but they actually can't get to Goat Hunt from Montana. They have to go from Montana, they have to drive across the border and then back into Waterton, take a boat from Waterton to Goat Hunt, Montana, USA. So it's a bit of a trek to get over there. And speaking of the US, we're just about to pass the USA and Canadian international border. There should be 2 markers just here at the cut line, and you can see a cut line of trees to indicate the border. Yep, it's a little bit sticky, so you might have to use both sides.
It's just a temporary window, or other one broke.
Oh, really?
That's what it seems like. So
Yeah.
it's, it's obviously glued on. It's a makeshift. It's a makeshift polygon.
Plexiglass.
So you probably see this. Here's my sunglasses. At the first?
I used to have dog shows. There's this. I see a red thing.
You follow the trees.
Right there.
And if you look on the other side of the lake, you can actually see the cut line of the border go all the way up the mountain. It's a really interesting view because it goes all the way over to the prairies, and on the west side, it goes all the way to the coast in BC.
You said you would never go back to America. What are you doing here?
I guess really jump in the lake and swim back, I guess. And so every 15 years, a group of people from either Waterton or from Glacier, they get together and they manually on foot cut this line here and the line there to indicate that it's the border between the 2 countries. And so in the treaty it says that there has to be a clear border telling that it is the 2 countries meeting.
International boundary. On the south side it says United States. Canada on the north.
Awesome, and just like that, we're down in the USA. Anyone's first time to the USA? That's so awesome. Well, welcome. And so, we're able to cross so easily without any passports or ID or anything because it is an international peace park. In 1935, it became an international peace park because both Glacier National Park and Waterton they realized, okay, well the animals don't realize that that's a border. They don't understand that it's 2 different countries. And so they decided to make this an international peace park so that we are able to explore and appreciate the nature without any problems and without any just like passports and anything difficult like that. So this is the easiest way to cross the border. But unfortunately you can't actually go into the United States from here because the closest road on the south side of the lake is about 50 kilometers away from the south side of the lake. Now if you look on the right side of the boat here, you'll be able to see the Citadel Peaks of Porcupine Ridge. It's the really pokey ones that are there over there. This morning couldn't see them because of the clouds, but luckily we can now. And so this river here is the Boundary Bay River, and so this is one of 2 rivers that flow into this lake here. So this is a really nice photo opportunity to have because of the Citadel Peaks with the Boundary River as well as Mount Campbell. Now a really beautiful scenery that we have on the west side here. We will be able to see this valley, and right in the middle of the valley there is a lot of red rock, as you can tell, and that is called it's called Mount Mishiwaban. It's one of the few mountains that still have their indigenous Blackfoot name. And Mount Mishiwaban, it means beautiful dawn. Names of these mountains are actually named after just a bunch of Europeans that came over as things usually happen. And so as you can see, the one that's the tallest one that you can't even see that's covered by the mountains, the very triangle looking one, that one's Mount Cleveland, and that's actually the tallest mountain in Glacier and Waterton National Park, and it's 10,000 feet above sea level. We are currently about 4,000 feet above sea level. And the mountain that's just on way at the back over there, the last mountain you can see that meets at a peak over there, covered in snow, that one's called Mount Longfellow. And that one's actually named after a poet.
South to north, and eventually through the Saskatchewan River system. goes south to north.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Does it drain to the Arctic? It drains into Hudson Bay and Arctic. Oh, it's in Great Lakes.
Oh, wow.
Well, no, Hudson Bay. The big lake.
So does the water level fluctuate very much?
About 7 feet a year.
From accident to low.
Yeah, we're almost high water, another 3 feet.
Yeah. Okay, then it drops through
See
the.
the logs up on the beach. And it'll drop probably 4 feet lower than this in
Oh.
August, September. Whatever's at the front is the way.
Now we're just arriving at the international border once again, and there will be another marker as well as the cut line. And you can again see the cut line on the west side as well.
That's part of it. And on the other side of that ridge goes Columbia River to the Pacific.
Oh, what's the snowfield called?
Herbst.
Sorry?
Herbst. H-E-R-B-S-T.
This Herbst snowfield.
And Alberta, BC. Alberta,
Like where it got meats and stuff.
Or Cameron Lake Reservations. Alberta, BC, Montana.
Is the water more green just because reflecting off the trees?
No, there's a substance called rock flour from glaciation. It's like little particles of rock. They're held in suspension and then the sunlight penetrates. So Lake Louise is milky blue because it has a lot more rock flour. Potato Lake, stuff like that.
About the glacier, or the lack thereof of the glacier.
It's huge now.
Said it was
Now we can talk trash.
Now on the west side of the shoreline, you can see this really big valley that, and you can see all of those mountains in the middle, and there's a big snowfield. That's the Herbst snowfield, and it actually used to be a glacier, and so for it to be considered a glacier, it needs to have about 25 acres, and it needs to be 60 feet like deep, or 60 feet like the width of 60 feet. And so, and also because of all of that mass, the glacier needs to move. So if all of that mass is moving, then it's considered a glacier. And so, and because it's moving, because of the gravity and it's moving, it's rubbing against the rock or the bedrock, and it makes something called rock flour. And this rock flour, as it goes into and feeds into the lakes or rivers or wherever it's going, that's what makes the lakes nearby green or blue or turquoise. That's what makes the color of the different colors of these lakes, is the rock flour. Now I'll give you some time time to yourselves, so you don't have to listen to me talk the entire time. I'm sure you would enjoy that. So I'll just leave you guys to it, and if you guys have any questions, please let us know. Don't be afraid, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the ride.
So that snow never melts.
But it hasn't melted because it's no longer glacier, so therefore it's become a lot smaller.
But is it ever like no snow? It's not in your mouth. It's not
all of it melts.
Yeah.
There's some little lake snowfields there. They stay year round.
Okay. Well, like I'll say any of the peaks for that matter.
Yeah.
So stay there.
If you look at this side of the mountains, you're looking at the south side.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of sun, so most of the snow is already melted.
Right.
If you look back that way, those are north facing. Look at all the snow when you look back.
Yeah.
The sun doesn't get a direct hit. These days are a lot longer. That's where all the glaciers and snowfields are. Shady areas. These sides are sunbaked.
Some more Jurassic
Where are you guys from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Escaping the big city?
Yeah, we're going back though.
For a while.
Well, we're not in Los Angeles, like in the suburbs outside, but
It's still big city.
Yeah. You live out here?
Yeah. I don't do cities very well. I've seen you in Los Angeles. Scary. Same people, man.
There's a lot of
You get used to this, you don't understand that. Why are they all mad in a hurry? All of these people live on top of each other.
It's a legend, dude. Everyone's in a hurry.
Yeah.
Us, we're not on the subway. Yeah, everyone's got something to pay.
You see them come here and they're walking fast, moving fast. Slow down, slow down.
You were saying you could hike like most along the lake. Could you hike technically all the way to Nova?
Yeah. 10 miles to Nova. And from there to the nearest road is another 32 miles. And this is part of the Continental Divide Trail.
Oh, that's right.
Hike from New Mexico to Alaska. And
this is
the West
part of
Coast.
To Alaska?
Yeah, Continental Divide Trail.
I thought typically you just do Mexico to Canada.
They do, yeah. They come to here. This is where they have it. You could technically keep going.
So the Rockies do continue to Alaska.
This is, you could go west from here to the trail called, and you could end up in Seattle.
A little further west, you get the Pacific, which I think is like the Cascade Mountains, which is east of Alaska. Cascade and Sierra Nevadas. Deserts of Southern California. Chunk, actually.
That was that fire. You guys had a big fire.
Yeah, we were like living there to like have to worry about evacuation.
This was like Malibu.
Oh yeah, rich area.
Yeah.
Oh, they got insurance.
Surprisingly, good amount don't.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. We got a bunch of them got canceled last year.
Yeah. And you're stuck with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the government's gonna do the debris removal, but the rebuild is all you.
It's the land still works pretty good.
It actually is. So some of the
Just the
homes,
land.
some of the homes in the Altadena area, like people are straight up telling me, like they'll come into the, because I work for the county,
Yeah.
and so part of it they'll tell me it's like, oh, I'm buying like 7 of the homes in the area. It's like they're still buying them for $600,000-$700,000.
Yeah. Burnt.
Yep, absolutely nothing. It's a fresh start.
They built a house there and it's worth $2 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. My guess is like the house, the material and labor probably costs less than $500,000. The land costs like $700,000. Like majority of the cost isn't the land. The lot
Yeah,
costs more than the house. Yeah. This is like turquoise green.
Guys jump in the lake yet?
No.
People from LA have to jump in the lake.
Why is that?
Cleanse yourself. I thought. Cliff dive.
I mean, I'll do it. Are you being serious? Oh, I was like, I was on to a cliff jump. I've done a couple.
You see the drop off?
Of how deep the water? Yeah, like right here.
It's 100 feet deep.
Okay. Top of this?
Right. You don't have to worry about hitting the bottom.
How close to the edge did you get?
Pretty close.
That was crazy.
I'm through the back now. Go back.
You're gonna go all the way to the back. As you can tell, we are approaching the rock really, really close. That's because we're gonna now stop and drop every single one of you off, and you guys are all gonna dive into the water. This place is actually a really popular place for locals to come and cliff jump. Some of the highest cliffs here are around 150 feet, and so some people, some daredevils, really do go and jump off that height, but I personally could not jump off 150. I would jump off a few other shorter ones.
How do you act? This is only accessible by boat.
Yeah.
So you boat, hike up.
You boat to right here.
Sorry?
You get off the boat right here. This is where you get off if you were to jump it.
It just depends on, I guess, because it just depends because there's usually like the locals just like bring kayaks or canoes. Probably more just like smaller boats.
You
Like
can dock it easier.
exactly. So it wouldn't be anything like this. And so yeah.
That's funny actually.
Yeah. It's a straight drop off from the very top of, like just from the top of the cliff to the very bottom of the ocean. Like about here is about 200 feet deep. That's why we can go so close to the edge. Sorry. Did I say ocean? I meant lake, not ocean. I don't even remember what I said. That's crazy. Is it your first time diving in Waterton? Yeah. The first stroke. That's so fun. So you guys from? Oh wow, that's so cool.
Technically, second day in Canada. I just crossed the border yesterday.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so good. And so what, like, tell you guys here?
Parks.
Yeah.
So here.
We started in like middle of the country in the national parks in Montana, over glacier.
That's so awesome. That's so good.
Yeah. Contemplating Jasper or not. It's a big detour from Banff to go to Vancouver.
Yeah.
It's a long way around. Yeah, it's like another 2 days.
Yeah, but it could be worth it. I'm from Vancouver, so I don't know, it might be biased, but it's
Oh,
really
definitely
good.
good Vancouver, but not sure if we should do Banff all the way to Vancouver. No, sorry, not Jasper. So we're going to Banff for sure. Then to go to Vancouver is to kind of like go like that. But Jasper is like a couple hours more north, and then to double that to come back down. So I'm not sure.
I've never been to Jasper myself, but I've heard it's really good. So, I mean, like, you're here, you might as well go.
Yeah, but there's only so much time.
That's true. Are you guys off work or on vacation?
I am unemployed.
Yeah. Good excuse, I mean.
Yeah.
And I gotta go back in 2 weeks. So like for me, it's like if I go to Jasper, that means I might not be able to do Seattle National Park.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
And I really don't do the those three
That's
Cascades. Yes, those three. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Are you here for the season?
Yeah.
Alright, so you travel here for the season?
I know because my family moves to Lethbridge. I don't know if you know where that is. That's only like an hour and a half north of here, so it's not too far. So my family moved to Lethbridge about a couple of years ago, and so then I
is open.
It's open right now?
Yeah, you can go up there now.
Really? We
They
went by
opened
yesterday.
They opened yesterday. You must have got there too early.
I mean, we didn't pull on the doors.
It looked like it was closed.
That was the first day. Maybe they're just sitting open. Yeah, go up there and check it out.
Down?
Yeah, let's go. I could eat after the tea.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's 1927. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's great is like I kept looking back. It's like you can see the hotel basically from the whole way,
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
great spot.
except for like right here where this part covers it.
When you go in the bays,
It's like it's
At night it's like a lighthouse.
Yeah.
Follow it home in the dark.
Yeah, it was nice and lit up last night too. Let's just stay there tonight.
Have dinner right in front of the big windows if you ask.
Nice.
If you ask nicely, they'll let you sit down. Pretty nice.
Did you do the 10 o'clock one too?
Yeah.
Was it? It was still cloudy, right?
Yeah, it was raining. Well, that wasn't bad. It wasn't like this. Couldn't see the deep. Drove up from LA. Drove all the way I-15.
So we actually went to Indianapolis for a wedding.
Oh, wow.
And then drove west from there.
That's a long
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
When you have all the time, it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. You drive back down the I-5?
I think
That's a
so.
nice drive. It's slow.
So I think, I mean, I plan on going back through, I don't know if it goes through Washington. It goes through Oregon.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking of the 101 or the one right down the
I
coast.
think the interstate drive through it goes through all.
WBCH.
It's right down the coast all over.
Yeah. It's just Pacific Coast Highway. No, I'm probably gonna take the big interstate all the way down. Like, it goes through all the major cities.
I-5.
Seattle, Portland, yeah, Salem.
Busy. I guess you're used to traffic.
When you're out in the middle of nowhere, that's not. I guess there's some traffic.
Yeah. Oh, you go through the Seattle to
Yeah.
Tacoma. I've done that drive a few times.
Do you go all the national parks in Canada?
Have I know?
Do you try to? Do people try to?
I'm so busy here in the summer, I don't get to go anywhere. I mean, Canada's huge, man. East Coast, I've always wanted to go. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Labrador, Brunswick.
load and leave. Unload and leave.
That's crazy.
It sucked. Too many.
Yeah. And but then just on Saturday when we were doing on that fourth cruise, I was like, I mean, granted, I was like, it was the end of the day, so I was getting pretty sick. And then I also had to use the bathroom because I was like drinking so much water all day. And so the entire cruise, it was like the longest hour and 15 minutes of my life. How many cruises a day max do we have?
Well, this year they keep changing it. 4 or 5.
What's the latest one that you guys do?
6:15. Used to be 7. Used to get done at 9:15 and back up. Started at 8 in the morning. July and August is when you make your money, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Tips are good. The hours. This time of year is nice because it's now like shoulder season is good. July and August is wait till it's over. Not physically exhausting, but it's just brutal at night. After that, you don't want to talk to people.
No, like trying to
You want
like
to go hide in your room.
yeah, trying to like just I feel like just trying to recite everybody.
Still beats a real job.
Sorry?
It beats a real job.
Yeah.
Look at this.
I mean like I think it's a real job that pays the good job.
Anytime it gets rough, just look around.
No, literally.
They can do this.
Buddies are changing sheets.
I've done washing dishes for jobs. I've done the service job. I've done cleaning job. Literally.
There you go.
I took on my job like 8 hours a day. Something that is more active and can talk to people. If I can talk to people, then I should be okay.
Yeah. Lots of that.
guide your eyesight to the west side of the shoreline, you can see all these trees that are leaning towards the north. And you're probably wondering why. And I can tell you. And that's called wind trading. Wind trading. And that's because the wind is coming from the south side. And so the wind is so constant that the trees are just leaning like that. And so the wind here in Alberta can get pretty fast. And so the wind here, the average about 30 kilometers an hour. And I think that's about maybe 20 or 15 miles per hour. I'm still learning how to convert all of the things, but I guess to 30 kilometers an hour, that's the average for on the daily. But during the winter, it can actually get up to 100 kilometers an hour, and that's 60 miles per hour. And so, and even a few years ago, the wind speed has reached over 150 kilometers, maybe even up to 180, and I think that's about 100 miles per hour. In Waterton, the town site, there's lots of things to do, and you can stop by Cameron Falls. Cameron Falls is a really nice waterfall that is just a little walk or a short drive, and that's in the town site. And then for a hike, I would suggest Bear's Hump. Bear's Hump is this little shoulder. I'm sure you'll be able to see it once we turn the boat, but there's like a little shoulder just at Mount Crandall, and it's a 45-minute hike, and it's pretty steep, and so you'll definitely get tired, but it's definitely not a long hike. And so for 45 minutes, it's probably one of the best views you'll get of the town site and the mountains and the lake. So I would definitely suggest that. And then you could also park at the Prince of Wales, and you can drive up to the Prince of Wales and park there, and you can also see the beautiful view from that hill. Fun fact about Prince of Wales Hotel, it started construction in 1926, and it took until 1927 to finish construction. And because of the wind during the construction, it was blown off of its foundation twice. And so the first time they rebuilt it and did their best, but on the second time it blew off the foundation. They were kind of sick and tired of it at this point, and they were just like, okay, we'll just build it from where it is. And so the Prince of Wales is not actually on a solid foundation, but it has survived this long. And the architecture for the Prince of Wales is actually based off of Swiss architecture. So that's why the building just looks so much more interesting than some of the other things built here in Canada. Because it's based off of Switzerland. And there's plenty of things to eat and to look at and to learn in the town site. And so I definitely recommend all the restaurants and the gift shops to visit, because you want to remember your trip here. So I definitely recommend that. Thank you so much for your time. As we pull into the dock here, I recommend that I would ask you to take your seats until we're able to dock properly. And I thank you so much for coming out here and coming and enjoying nature with us. So we hope to see you again soon. And we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Here's a better place to put up.
Right here?
See how you can see it now?
Yeah, I see.
Back there kind of blends in.
Yeah.
So you can see people standing up there.
Oh, yeah. I see it now.
I see one guy up there.
Yeah.
One guy right on top.
The lake is practically like the lake is so flat.
Yeah.
It's crazy. What do you keep looking at?
that's